Monday, January 11th. This week, SkyTrack was used as a people elevator as it hoisted this worker on the south side high up to the top of the red steel. He climbed out of the basket and slid along the beam and anchored his harness. It was still spooky. Then the beam started lowering toward him as he motions it to stop, and then just spins it in the air to get it in the position he wants. As the sun was setting, they moved over to the cinder block wall near the atrium and were installing beams of red steel there also. SkyTrack spent the day raising and lowering this worker to use his nail gun to secure the plywood at all levels of the southwest side. Workers turned the corner at the end of the building by our apartment with prefabricated walls coming up to the red steel. Weather turned cold this weekend and clouds hung against the mountains. Saturday morning we woke up to snow, but that didn't deter the crews. Beastie Boys worked both Saturday and Sunday, started early. Below our apartment, Little Cat was filling in the dirt around the concrete pad where the new generator will be installed. They dropped off concrete bases with metal rods that will protect the box around the generator. Crane and crew stayed busy most of the day lifting sections of the stairwell up at the southwest end of the building. Winds picked up, and even basic soldering was a little more interesting as fire and smoke flared and shifted. I heard a rumble below our balcony, and SkyTrack was going very carefully up the hill. Two guys are working to keep the trusses in place. The tree's not helping, trying to grab onto everything. But they persisted and made it up to the top of the hill. Then the SkyTrack had to reach to its furthest extent to get those trusses up to the top of the second floor so they could be installed. These have parapet parts attached. You have the area where all the ductwork and wiring and things will run, and then you have a couple feet ready for parapets. It makes me very nervous to have these guys leaning against the edge. SkyTrack was finding it hard to maneuver up near the building with all this loose wood thrash on the ground, so this guy got tasked to pick it all up. He filled an entire blue bin, and the ground looks like he barely made a dent. Worker called SkyTrack to come pick up the full bin of wood pieces. Then SkyTrack had to maneuver back down the hill with a full bucket of pieces and get past the tree and not dump it on the ground. As you walk along the street on the south side, it's easier to see where all these stairwell pieces are going. SkyTrack is constantly putting new stacks of prefabricated walls up high. crews worked quickly to take these stacks of walls and turn them into functioning apartments. SkyTrack is lifting trusses on the south side. We had to laugh as the little guy that was guiding it got to the end of the rope and was standing on his tiptoes to keep it going straight. Then the trusses got to the top and there was nobody up there to receive them, so the driver was honking and waiting and honking. Few workers even had to pull pieces of plywood through a window on the second floor. When Wilbur was up in the air on the south side, he thought it would be fun to do touch and goes in these open apartments, but the workers were cranking out the walls so quickly that by the time he wanted to do it, they were closed up. I heard a rumble and a very large crane was rolling backwards off of a trailer. I wonder where they're going to use that. When I went looking on the north side, I found one of our regular SkyTracks reaching to the end of its ability to put trusses on the building, and then there's a guy walking along those trusses. Whoa! New big yellow crane was sitting at the edge of the 4000 building. I didn't catch it in motion, but I think it'll be used for that third floor. Insulation had been installed around the new electrical storage room. Workers were finishing nailing the trusses into place right above the outhouse. At the opening to the kitchen alley, I found a little bitty cat digging a trench right in the middle of the road. The truck didn't run over him, but it was close. Oscar I.L. Foreman took delivery of 2 sections of red steel stairwell. We'll have to see where those go. Looking down the hallway of the 6000 wing, I was again reminded of how many people can we stuff in a Volkswagen? When we roamed around at night, we peeked into Carter Hall and looked up to see heating and air conditioning had been installed in the dining room. Our adopted granddaughter, Naomi, is having a serious chat with her big husky, Nevea. This past week, there seemed to be an abundance of jet trails in the sky.
Hi, this is the 6000 wing. In the lower right, look at the big crane they've brought in to lift stuff up to the higher floors, which they'll be getting to soon. And note, they've roofed over almost all this floor. Just nooks and crannies really left to do. At the base, at the left, and over in the corner, even further left, note the piles of prefab framing that are waiting to go up on the next floor. Rounding the corner, we see more piles of stuff, and we see that they have even finished putting up the temporary safety fence for the next floor. Hi, this is Jack Brayer. It's Wednesday, January 13th. It's 10 a.m. Oh, look at that long central corridor. We'll see later. Well, you can see it just now. They've partly roofed it over. It's 10 a.m., it's sunny, and it's 36 degrees. There's Skyjack on the south side, again doing the heavy lifting. And note again that the south side lags the north side of this floor. They're still doing the trusses, and they have to do the roof. And again, as usual, there he is, tall and empty, standing alone, master of his domain. It's Block Monster. On a lighter note, I hope all the sailors out there are following the America's Cup races going on starting tomorrow night. Hi, today I'd like to look at Wilbur himself a little more closely. I'm sure you have all seen the video of Wilbur himself in the intro to our weekly videos. Here is a schematic picture of Wilbur. Let's talk about his parts. Wilbur has a main camera, item number 1 in the picture. It's on a gimbal, so it can rotate up and down and left and right. Wilbur has 4 other fixed cameras, items 2 and 3 in the picture. These cameras are used to avoid crashing into obstacles. He also has 2 downward ultrasound sensors, near 2 in the picture, to help. Wilbur senses GPS to determine its position, and Wilbur has dual redundant IMUs, or inertial measurement units. These have 3-axis accelerometers to measure acceleration, 3-axis gyroscope that measures rotation, and 3-axis magnetometer to determine heading. That's basically all the sensors. For actuators, Wilbur has only the 4 motors for the 4 propellers, items 5 and 7 on the diagram. Of course, the camera gimbal and recorders are also actuators. Items 8 on the diagram are the antennas to talk to the controller. Finally, and most important, not shown on the diagram, on the top of Wilbur is a button to turn the power on and off. I think you'll agree that Wilbur is a pretty complex and capable guy. But wait, we need to get back to assisted living. Bonk, here we are at assisted living, with trusses and roofing going on the 3rd floor. The trusses even have pillars for the parapet above the roof. The center aisle is partly roofed in. Lower floors are closed in and the whole area is cleaned up. Lots of trucks and panel vans are parked around the area, and that means there's more activity going on inside. Let's jump over to the back side. Here, they still need to cut and fit the roofing, and there's still work to do to cap and cover the parapet. They need to roof the center aisle and roof and even finish the trusses on the northwest corner. Looking at the west end, note that they are framing in the stairway. See you next week.